Histograms are another type of graph that we're going to talk about this year. So with your histograms, they do look similar to the bar graphs, but they do not show categorical data. So if you look at your histogram, the x-axis and the y-axis up here both have numbers. So there's not categories, but instead everything is being separated into a number. The other big thing with your histogram is that each bar represents a range of numbers. Okay, so this first bar right here tells us that there are 30 students who get somewhere between $0 and $5 each week. So that means all 30 of them could get $5. It could also mean that 2 of them get $0, 10 of them get $5, 4 of them get $4, 15 of them get $3. We don't know the exact numbers. We just know that they fall into that range. Continuing with that trend, this $6 to $10 group, also 30 students that fall in this range. And then in this $11 to $15 range, we have 20 students in this group. And then down here, this is somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to say there's about 7 students that get between $16 and $20. And then there are, I don't know, let's go with 3 students down here that get somewhere between $21 and $25. So those kids are lucky. So with your histogram, you're going to read it similar to your bar graph. You're just going to read where the bar stops, or I guess the height of the bar, and that's going to tell you this number of students over here. And then you just have to analyze where they fall, like in what range of numbers is it true. So our first question asks about how many students get between $11 and $15. So this $11 to $15 bar stops at the number 20. So that means 20 students fall in that range. That does not mean that 20 students are getting $15, and that does not mean that 20 students are getting $11. That means there are combined 20 students that fall getting somewhere between $11 and $15. Number 2 was really tricky for some friends. Okay, so it asks how many students get $25 a week. So if you look at this bar, it says there's 3 students that get between $21 and $25. But again, we don't know the exact number that are getting 25. So how many students get $25 a week is an unknown number. We can't actually answer this question. Okay, your histograms do not give you exact data points unless it gives you a table to accompany the graph. This one we don't have the table, so we cannot just assume the number of students that get that amount of money. And then number 3 asks about how many 6th graders did we ask this question to. So same thing we did in our bar graph. We're going to add them all up, and I'm going to squish it in down here. So 30 plus 30 plus 20 plus 7 plus 3. Now, this question does say about. This is just because we cannot guarantee that everyone's going to read this 16 to 20 bar as 7, and we cannot guarantee that everyone's going to read this 21 to 25 bar as 3. So this about kind of lets you give a range of answers, and they would all be accepted as correct. So in our problem, we have 60 plus 30. In other words, there were 90 6th graders that we asked this question to. Okay, so again, your histograms do not give you exact data. They usually just give you a range or a summary